want y'all to put your fucking hands in the air.
I worked my entire life to get here.
Make some noise.
I have saved your Divas division. I have shattered glass ceilings. I have broken down doors. I gave my life to this, and you were just handed 15 minutes of fame. I didn't get here because I was cute.
What's good, everybody? My name is the Generation 71. Thank you for tuning back into Behind the Scenes of the WWE. Today we're actually going to be going into the life of AJ Lee, more commonly known now as April Jeanette Mendez, or more commonly known now as April Jeanette Brooks. She recently actually married, well, not recently, but she's actually married to CM Punk, in case you guys didn't already know. So if you were hoping to snatch this girl up yourself, well, better luck next time. The reason we're actually going into AJ today is, as you may or may not already know, she actually recently decided to retire from in-ring competition, and it's suspected that she will be leaving the WWE as soon as possible. The only reason why I say as soon as possible is she's technically still under contract from the research that I've gathered. Nobody knows for how much longer, to be completely honest, but it's obvious to see that she no longer wants to be with the company for a couple of reasons. I would say, especially since her husband has left the company a couple of months ago, that's probably a big factor in it. When her husband actually got served his severance papers on their wedding day, that's probably another aspect of it. And as well, technically, with her having a public outing with Stephanie McMahon, I forget her actual title in the company, but it's pretty high up there. That's probably another reason as well. And when I say public outing, I don't really mean like, oh, they were lashing at each other. Essentially, Stephanie McMahon replied to a tweet of a famous actor, just pretty much promoting, women empowerment. And AJ kind of responded to that as like, well, why don't you do that for your own, employees? Essentially, with the divas, they actually get a fraction of screen time compared to actually male competitors and sell more merchandise than male competitors, yet they don't really receive those benefits as if they were bringing in all that money. So with that public outing, I think that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, probably. It was her own pipe bomb in her own sense, I guess. But enough about that. Essentially, we're going to be talking about more about her life outside of wrestling more than inside of wrestling, because I don't think her actual on-screen persona really shows who AJ is, or I guess I should say April. I'm going to call her April from now on, just because honestly a majority of her wrestling career portrayed her as a crazy bitch, plain and simple. I say that with as much respect as possible, but yeah, they portrayed her as a crazy bitch, plain and simple. She had so many on-screen romances. She was pretty much looked at. She would go to where the power was for the most part. She would end up screwing over so many guys. That was her on-screen persona, and I understand the controversy that it promoted, but it didn't necessarily make her look, I guess, all that well. But even with that, she ended up gathering a big following in the WWE universe. That's what I call it now. Because essentially, she took a lot of what she was after the fact in the last year of her, or I guess in the beginning of her career, at the end of her career, her love for comic books, anime, and video games. And I guess that's what made her so popular with fans, because yes, she is cute, she is very, very attractive, but she's also real. So not only could more women relate to her, but more men, I would say, were attracted to her because she was more of the mainstream type of girl. It's like, hey, I might not be able to get that other high-priced diva, but that girl, that's somebody I could probably catch, you know what I mean? So she was just more relatable in every sense of the word. But she's also one of the most hard-working divas I have seen in a very, very long time, mainly because of her childhood. She didn't necessarily have the easiest childhood. She actually never really had a actual place to stay. I think the way she described it was most of the time she'd be living in motels, other people's or other friends' houses, or in her own car. So obviously it wasn't the easiest childhood, and it didn't get easy as she grew up as well. She actually ended up, when she was actually learning to wrestle, wanting to be a part of the WWE. I guess that was her prospected dream. She actually maintained a lot of part-time jobs while she actually learned how to wrestle, not to mention that she actually went to college herself as well. Eventually she did have to drop out of college just because she could no longer afford that, and to fund her family, I guess, to actually support her family. So with that, it just goes to show you one of those things that you don't really see too many people do these days, plain and simple. That hard-working persona of somebody actually knowing what they want, going to get it. And I think that's what makes April's leave of the WWE so devastating, because not only was she considered the top diva as of right now, she just had that hard-working persona that I can honestly say not a lot of other divas have at this point. That's not really bashing them at all. It's just saying that sometimes, and it happens to the best of us, sometimes we just all become complacent. The fact that AJ Lee actually has retired, April, I gotta keep saying April. April has actually retired is a pretty big loss. So I know her actual... one of her motivations as well at I believe it was either a comic book convention, it was some sort of either comic book or wrestling convention, she actually met with Lita and actually talked to her, and to the point that she actually started just bawling right in front of her because she was just so happy and so engrossed in actually meeting her. And it's one of those feelings that you know when you want something, when somebody who inspires you, you actually get to meet them, you actually get to talk to them, you actually get to pick their brain about what they think and how they think and all those different things. So I know that was a big factor of her actually wanting to become a WWE diva herself as well. So overall, nobody really knows exactly where she's going to be ending up. I mean, overall, she may start supporting her husband in his UFC run. She may consider a career in modeling, which I think she would be decent at. I mean, she already has all that talent, let's be honest here. But where she'll end up, nobody will actually know until it happens. So, but definitely for, I guess, an example of women empowerment, you definitely got to take a look at, April, because even though she had a lot of odds stacked against her, she ended up where she wanted to be. The fact that the first time she ever won the Divas Championship, she actually had that date tattooed on the back of her neck. It was 6/13/13, actually tattooed as tally marks in the back of her neck. The fact that she was so passionate about that to actually do something like that just shows exactly how much this all meant to her. And it's a shame to see her leave, but hopefully she'll end up where she wants to be now, because in the end, we all evolve, we all change our wants and our needs. So, but alright guys, I'm going to cut it there for now. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you guys want to see more, definitely leave a like, definitely leave a comment with feedback. Always appreciate all that. But anyways, this has been Generation 71, and we'll catch you guys later.